And welcome to the Aaron Katzman Show. I'm your host, Aaron Katzman. We speak to your life, your money, and your investments. And as always, we're coming to you from the spiritual and soon-to-be financial capital of the world, Jerusalem, Israel. If you like this content, please hit the subscribe button below to both the video channel, to both the YouTube channel and to the podcast. If you've not yet subscribed, you want to hit the subscribe button, the like button, and if you think somebody's going to actually get something out of this, something might be interested in this content, please share it with them as well. So I want to speak to you today about something that people aren't going to like necessarily, and that's the importance of paying off your home, okay? And the real importance of paying it off before you hit retirement, okay? There are a few reasons why you want to pay off your home and not carry a mortgage into retirement. I would say not carry a mortgage at all, even pre-retirement, but certainly once you hit retirement, you want to have that home paid for. Reason number one is just peace of mind, right? You don't want to go into retirement with debts. You don't want to owe anybody any money, because the fact is, once you are retired, it is what it is, right? You've managed to save what you've managed to save, whatever passive income streams you have managed to accumulate, that's what you're going to have, right? There's not going to be any way, you're not going to be able to work to dig yourself out of the hole, right? So you don't want to owe anybody anything by the time you hit retirement. And you want to have that, just that, the peace of mind that, oh, we don't have any money, we don't have any payments, we're good to go, we've accumulated what we have to accumulate, we can make a plan onwards. So that's sort of a psychological, probably maybe the most important reason, but it's a psychological reason as well. But there's a big financial reason, okay? Let's just assume, I was reading a statistic the other day, the average home price in America is $400,000. Those of you in Israel are going to laugh because it's probably more than that here, when all said is done. But let's just say $400,000. And let's say based on that, people take, generally on average, they'll make their purchase in their 30s, okay? And on average, people take a 30-year mortgage, okay? Today, if you were to do that, you're gonna be paying approximately $2,000 a month. That's gonna be your monthly payment to pay down your mortgage. Let's say you hit retirement, okay? And you have to pay $2,000 a month. That comes out to around $24,000 a year. In order to generate $24,000 a year when you no longer have a salary, that's the equivalent to approximately, people are going to say the 4% rule of withdrawals, whatever it is, okay? Maybe you want to give you a little more credit than that, say 5%. You're still talking about in the ballpark of anywhere between 400 and we'll make it bigger, right? $450,000 to $600,000 of wealth that you would need to have just to sustain the $24,000 a year that you're paying on your mortgage. Now, just imagine if you pay that mortgage off before you get into retirement. That's a boatload of money that you don't need to have in order to meet that expense, right? Ultimately, when you're trying to figure out your expenses, the biggest expense you are going to have, chances are, will be your mortgage, will be your housing, right? It's probably not, you're probably not going to spend in retirement, $2,000 a month on food. Okay, you're certainly not going to get there on utilities, right? If you want to throw some travel in, then you'll surpass it. But chances are, in your common routine monthly expenses, your housing is going to be the biggest line item that you're going to have, right? So if you can knock out $24,000, that changes everything. Okay, totally. And there are those who say, well, maybe we'll rent. Well, rent instead. Okay, well, hello. If you rent instead, the average rental is going to be pretty close to what you're paying in mortgage, number one. Number two, keep in mind the average rents increase over time. So let's say, you retire at 65 and you're paying, again, around $2,000 a month in rent. That $2,000 is going to turn into, in 10 years, somewhere around $2,500, let's say, maybe a little even more, right? So you're going to go from $24,000 a year to north of $30,000 a year, right? Based on our same rules, you're talking anywhere between $600,000 and $700,000 in order to meet that expense that you're going to need to have saved, right? That's a lot of money. Most people are not going to get that. But then keep in mind, right, if you were to get rid of your mortgage, if you don't rent, your expenses have just dropped significantly, right? And count in, Social Security into the mix. You're not going to have, you might need another couple $1,000s a month to live off of. So at the end of the day, you're not going to have $2 million or $3 million, saved. You can do it with $400,000 or $500,000 if you manage to accomplish, in your retirement account, in your taxable savings account, that plus your Social Security, whatever comes state-funded pension you might have, or social benefit you might have, will be probably more than enough to get you over the line, the finish line, have a secure and comfortable retirement. Whereas, again, if you've got that mortgage out there, you're going to have, well north of $1 million. And you're not even, people think, oh, I've got $1 million, I've got a paid off home, whatever. But if you have $1 million and don't have a paid off home, that's, that $1 million might not go nearly as far. It's going to go actually half as far as it would if you had a paid off home, right? Which means, the lifestyle that you might want to have when you retire is going to be significantly different. The stress level that you are going to have if you still own or rent is going to be significantly increased. And that's the last thing you want to do when you retire. You don't want to have stress. You're going to have plenty of stress. You don't have to have financial stress. Oh my God, what do we have to eat tuna? Do we have to have dog food? What are we going to eat? Because we can't make our month. Come on, you don't want that. So you've worked hard your whole life. You want to enjoy your retirement. You don't want to be stressed out because you watch a TikTok video and they said, no, you got low interest rates, just let it run, pay for 30 years. You want to pay interest for the next 30 years of your life. You know what? If you can make it 40 years, it's even better because you can take all your saved money, you can invest it, blah, blah, blah. We know what happens when you end up having extra money at the end of the month when you're not retired in the bank. Chances are, especially if you've got a family, whatever, you're going to spend that money, okay? So I would make it a goal to pay off your house sooner rather than later, right? Not even get close to retirement, okay? But let's just say that, you can't. You want to get it done by retirement so that you have that peace of mind and so that you don't have to have that, fattened up nest egg in order to make that extra payment, which is going to, once again, be your largest payment every month. So those are a couple of reasons, right? 3 to be exact, right? Peace of mind, the need that you don't need to have as large a nest egg, the stress, everything else that goes with it. And you just don't want to carry that when you're retired. Who needs it? Okay. You want to, you've worked hard. Everything's been tough. You put in the hours, you put in the time. Now it's time to enjoy the fruits of your labor. You shouldn't have to take the fruits of your labor and plow it back in, to make sure that you don't miss your mortgage payment or to rent, whatever it is. Those are both, if you don't need to do it, don't do it. And keep in mind, when you have that paid off house at the end of the day, if you are having issues making ends meet, let's just say that, things were tough, but you did have a paid off house, you don't have very much in savings, you can always turn around, as a last resort, as your backup plan is sell. Backup plan doesn't mean that that's the first thing you have to do when you hit retirement. It means when you're in your 80s already, okay, and things are tough and you've pretty much gone through all your money, you've got nothing left. Your fallback position then would be to sell and then rent comfortably for the rest of your life. I mean, it's not ideal, right? But that's why it's a fallback position. Whereas if you, owe most of your money still on your mortgage, you're not going to be able to do that. You're going to be, again, it's just one added problem you're going to reach in retirement. When again, you're not going to be able to, like I said at the beginning, it is what it is. Whatever money you've managed to accumulate in retirement, that's what you're going to have, right? You're not going to go back to work. You're not going to go into investment banking when you're 75 years old and pull in $1 million a year. It's just not going to happen for 99.99% of the population. That's not realistic. Okay, so you've got to be smart, which leads me to the last issue. And that's, you just have to plan for retirement. I know, Katzman, you're a broken record. You say that every time. But the fact is, I'm in a business, right, as a financial advisor. I see people all the time that don't plan for on retirement. And they wake up when they're 60 and they go like, holy blank, what are we going to do now? Why would you put yourself into that situation? When you're younger, you can just take easy steps, save a little bit every month, every year, Don't get fancy. Don't try to hit a grand slam on your investments. Just, buy broad-based ETFs or whatever, and you'll just do fine. It's not that complicated. It's those who make all these issues so complicated. They're arbitraging the interest rates. Well, you've got a low interest rate, so you can take the money that you save and plow it into the market, and you'll make 25% in crypto, and everything's gonna be great. You're gonna have $100 million when you retire. I meet with people all the time who tried that, and they've got nothing left in the bank. And they're like pleading to me, what can I do to salvage, the next 10 years so that I can, put food on the table when I retire, right? KISS, the acronym KISS, right? Keep it simple, stupid. Just follow the basic rules that we speak about all the time. Don't try and outsmart the system. Don't try and beat the system. People don't do that. It just doesn't happen. And those who do, the system comes back ultimately and bites them. And then they're up the creek. Okay? Pay off your house sooner rather than later, but certainly pay off your house before you retire. Okay? Keep things simple. Plan for your retirement. I can't stress it enough. Plan for your retirement well in advance of your retirement so that you don't have any issues and things are smooth and you have a secure financial nest egg. Okay? That's what you got to do. If you liked this, please subscribe to both the podcast and to the YouTube channel. Share it with all of your friends who are talking about retirement. Okay? And if they have questions, they want to disagree with me, feel free to comment, feel free to contact me. I'd be happy to speak to you. You've been tuning into the Aaron Katzman Show. We speak about your life, your money, and your investments. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll speak to you soon.